Hey everybody, sorry for the technical difficulties there. Some interesting things are happening. Wow, you guys know the routine. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining in. So sweet for you to be here, and I appreciate the thumbs up even before I can have a sip of my coffee. Hey Bill, good to see you. Ben, thanks for saying hello. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, I've got some students from Jersey out there for sure. Bob, I don't know if you're watching, or Tony. Hey, well, thanks so much again. Today's special topic. This is a special September series of live streams. I'm just honestly trying to do as much as I can during the weekday. I think it won't be quite as epic as the weekends. I'll try my best, but I'll pick it back up, I promise. I really like, again, interacting live with you and also trying to develop a community. The bigger community, of course, is on Patreon. And I know, Bill, I know you're on Patreon. Ben, I'm not sure about you, but please consider joining me on Patreon. I've been talking about a lot of stuff this week, from basic music theories, scales, chord construction, triads, suspended chords, diagonal arpeggios, how to learn and memorize songs such as Autumn Leaves, The Girl from Ipanema. We're going to continue on with these type of songs and series. And the importance of Louie Louie, all this stuff will be connected. I mean, they are connected in every session that I talk about. I'll make reference to those. So please watch those previous live streams. Of course, check out all of my materials on Patreon and all that stuff. There's free tabs for this session today. Um, you can leave me a super thank you or a tip in the Venmo and PayPal. Of course, that's always appreciated too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on today's topic, modes. I know modes are really kind of a mystery for a lot of folks, and the names of them, you know. So let's start off by talking about what the modes are. And the modes can be kind of a vast topic. So specifically, we're talking about the modes of the major scale. And these are often referred to as the Greek church modes. And we're talking about Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian or Locrian, depending on how you like to say it. And then back to Ionian. There's 7 different church modes, 7 different modes of the major scale. And don't worry, if that's all new for you, today's workshop, I'll say, session, stream is all about the modes. So grab your coffee, grab your guitar, and let's get started. Insert ad. No, just joking. All right, no ads yet. Okay, so modes, feel free to start typing in. Hey, I know what modes are. I hate modes. I love modes. I love modes. I really do. Okay, so the Ionian mode, first of all, is just the major scale. And I have a worksheet. These are free PDFs that are attached, or tabs and worksheets. I'm going to actually demonstrate it. Again, I'm going to do many different angles of hitting these so that it sticks with you and you can replay this video. And this is from what they are, the sounds of them, the colors, the intervals, how to use them, how to apply them. You're going to have so much fun, and we're going to hit them at all different angles on the guitar so that you actually learn it and master them. So first of all, we got to start with the major scale. Okay, so I'm going to just start with this E, and this is actually on the PDF. I use E, the open E string. If you're on the ukulele, you can use your second string. So what I want you to do with me right now, first and foremost, is just to play this E. We're going to walk you through the major scale, and again, this also has the mode name designated as Ionian. 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 And I'll write it on the board. Okay, so I'll just write it. Hopefully write it above my head. Let's see if I can do that. Number 1, Ionian. essentially that's just the major scale. But I do have to put a formula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the octave 8. And you need to remember that this is a whole step, half step, whole, and the half. That's the major scale. Let's see if my head is too big. Oh, pretty good. Hopefully you can see that. Zoom in a little bit too. Well, there. The Ionian. Okay, so we have it. We're going to do it on E. And yeah, it's important that you learn your 12 major scales, okay? That you can say them. And during the week, like I said, my time is going to be a little bit more limited. So we're going to do more theory drills during the week. So I'll say E major. I'm quizzing you. And you'll say E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. And the more you do it, the quicker you get at it. Most importantly, like today, we're going to play them. E major scale. Now, I'm just demonstrating this on the length of the string. This is very important because I love to see it like a piano. If you do it across the guitar, well, that's important to visualize your intervals. But right now, just for this minute, I want you to play it on the length of the string. You're gonna hit the open E, and then we're gonna hit the 2, the 4. I'm not even saying the notes. I'm just telling you the frets, because more importantly, right now, I want you to learn the formula. Half steps. That's 5, 7. I'll get out the frets for you. 9. You can see my dots. 11. That's a whole step, and then half step. You can see the formula above my head. Isn't that pretty? That's just a major scale. This is now the noodling portion where I do recommend, I always say to my students, you can do this. You can learn your major scales on the length of the string. Have a lot of fun noodling. All that stuff is noodling. And then from there, you can even go up another octave. This is the Ionian mode, aka the major scale. Okay. Again, the formula, we start with E in this case, E. We could actually do this on any note. I'll quiz you on a few different notes. You have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. Okay. But more importantly right now, if you need to construct the major scale, whole step, half step, 3 to 4 is a half step, and then whole step, and half. So it's 2 whole steps and a half, 3 whole steps and a half. Watch my video, my live stream from last Sunday. The picture will show the piano, and that's where I show how to learn the major scale. Okay, but now we're doing it on the guitar on one string. And grab the PDF if you're just tuning in. There's free PDFs again. I'm offering this as free tabs and PDFs. This is from the modes on one string. Okay, so that's the Ionian mode. Okay, and how I like to teach the modes generally is I go through the list: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and then Locrian or Locrian, how you like to say it. Type in the chat so I know you're here, you're watching. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. More importantly, grab your guitar and do this with us, okay? So this is just kind of an overview right now. I like to think of it as when I hear these modes or the scales often from music school, I translate things to solfege, which took me a while to learn that system. The do, re, mi, fa, mi, so, fa, mi, re, do, do, ti, do, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. By learning, and I'm going to recommend this, and I'm going to do a special solfege introductory live stream, because I think this is very important. It's kind of more music school. I mean, learning this stuff in music school for me was really eye-opening, because I didn't expect myself to want to go do, re, mi, fa, so, wanted to shred on the guitar. But it really did help me as a musician to get stronger and to ear train myself. Ti, ti, do, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, so, so, la, so, ti, do. And it allows you to hear the scale even before you play it. You know what it's going to sound like. Assuming you have your designated pitch, your tonic, they say. Do, mi, so, mi, do. La, so, ti, do, fa. And what's key is that those half steps. Ti, do, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so that's a separate topic, solfege. The solfege system, I think, is very important, but that's often what's going through my head, and my private students know that I'll sing melodies in solfege when I'm learning it, because it helps me hear intervals and colors. So we'll talk about that. Let me know if you're interested, because I'll put that on the priority list. That's stuff that's not talked about that often with guitar players, the solfege system. So it really will help you quite a bit. Major scale, back to the Ionian mode. Say it with me. Ionian. Ionian. It's right above my head. It's not essential that you blaze through it. Okay? Let's do it together. If you're just tuning in, we're going over the first mode, Ionian mode. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're from. I want to know about you. Credit cards. Bank history. Bank account. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Don't put any of that stuff in there in the chat. Just grab your guitar and your coffee. 1, 2, 3. Now we got to turn it into numbers. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Ionian mode. 1, 2, 3. The numbers are there. I don't know if you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. The Ionian mode is the most important one. That's why I'm spending all this time on Ionian. We're going to learn it on one string first. And don't even worry about the name of the notes right now, even though I said it's E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Don't worry about that, because we're going to do it on a different string in a second. We're going to, again, we could do it through all 12 keys, but we're not going to right now. Ready? Ionian, E. 1, let's talk numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And remember, 7 to 8 is a half step. 4 to 3. Again, that's where I would go. Fa, mi, re, do. If you're really thinking the solfege, the syllable designated each number. This is generally where I'd be jamming with students, and I'd be giving them an E chord. And you'd be noodling around in that Ionian mode. You can just do it slowly. Just enjoy the beauty of that major scale. You hit the open E like this. And noodle. Little patterns, little intervals. You could go like this. Be super creative. You can slur it. You can go. That's just the Ionian mode. the major scale, but learn it. It's so pretty. Well, let's do it on A. Okay, I chose A because we have an open A string. So here's A note here. We could start here on the 5th fret. Let's do that. For fun, we'll do it here too. We just find where A is. So got to use our formula. This is A major now. And later again, when we do the solfege, we have to establish the new key because you're probably going to still hear the key of E. And we don't want to do that. We're actually going to go to A major. Though, thanks for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. It's looking good. I'm going to get to 20 within the session. That make my day. 2 whole steps, half step. Then 3 whole steps from there. And half step. You should end up on A again. That's A major. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi. That's your half step. Re, do. Do, re, mi, re, do. Do, so, do. I know. Okay, I'm going to stop the solfege. It's hard for me to not hear it that way. Here's A. You probably notice I put the pick down and use my thumb. I really do love using my thumb a lot. It's just such a sweet sound to use your thumb. So if you're a shredder, well, there's a lot of guys who shred on their fingers lately, but you might want to grab a pick. T, that's T. Tito. Feel the tension. Half step between 3 and 4. You guys are going to master this today if you do this method with me slowly. Okay, that's A Ionian. One more before we go on to Dorian, Phrygian, Aeolian, all those fancy ones. Hit the D string. That's their 4th string if you didn't know. Hopefully you knew that. And where's D at? 3rd fret right here. Let's do this one. So do it with me slowly. I'm going to yell it out in tabs. We don't even need to worry about letter names. That's not important right now. Okay, that's separate. Right now, fretboard. 2 whole steps. Do any fingering you want. You can do 1 finger for all. Half step. Whole step. Whole step. Whole step. And feel that tension. Tito. Resolve. See the half step? That's fa mi. Hit the D. Open. Noodle. Make little pretty melodies. I'm still staying all in D. I'm hearing this in my head, just like this. Maybe it's sus. This is now turning into a guitar meditation class. I like it. But now check this out. See, I'm going to do something really fun. That's Lydian. Change the color and the mood. Back to major, Ionian. Now I'm going to go to Mixolydian. This is just a little preview. You're like, ooh, I like that. Well, that's the Mixolydian mode. So thinking my goal is for you to be able to hear when I switch modes. Not only when I switch modes, you'll feel it, but you'll say, oh, Tracy went to Lydian. Oh, Mixolydian, cool. Oh, Phrygian, you can feel and hear these intervals, these colors, but it does require that you learn your formulas. I mean, this is my way of teaching it. One of my first experiences of it really hitting home, I think I've told this story on Patreon before. I tell a lot of stories on Patreon from how I learned and my experiences, but one of them was the power of the mode. It's from the film. I haven't seen this film since I saw it in the movie theater, but that was a long time ago, but it's a movie called Alive. The Argentine soccer team, the plane going down. It's a pretty bleak movie, but the primary mode of that film was Aeolian mode, the music. And it really struck me just how it made me feel. how dark and cold and really that. And then there's even the guitar. One of the guys in the movie had a guitar on there, not to give it away, but they're stranded on the mountain with a guitar and one string, and he's just noodling around the scale. It's just it's powerful. And but I want to be able to play the notes exactly, but that's not important. What's important was, hey, these modes have so much emotional power. Okay, so remember that. I mean, it's really an expression for you. And that's how I like to think of it, besides just trying to play fast or anything like that. Definitely not about that. So learn how to use the modes for composing, improvising, songwriting, whatever you enjoy, or just doing what we're doing now, noodling. Bob, good morning. Hola, my friend. Amigo, cheers. Okay. Well, thanks. I hope I'm not losing people on this topic of modes. It's really one of my favorite things to talk about and to teach, because there's a lot of ways to teach it. And it's not just about, okay, here's your chord. That's important for jazz improvisation and stuff. But even more important on a basic level, again, is to bathe in each mode, ear train yourself so you can hear it, understand the formula. What is Ionian? What is Mixolydian, Lydian, etc.? There's 7 modes. And again, hopefully you have that worksheet PDF that I'm offering you for free on the link in the descriptions. And give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this, it's my pleasure to offer this for you. If you have some questions related to this topic, or want to say hi, want to tell me if you're on Patreon, I appreciate seeing your name and your words. If you're watching this on Patreon, by the way, please click over to the YouTube, and don't just stay on the Patreon link. Go actually click so that you click on YouTube, so you enter the YouTube zone, and that way you can type in the chat, and I'll see that you're watching too. Well, I won't see your name, but again, that all helps me as a YouTube creator. Okay. Okay, so now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We've explored that major scale, and I've demonstrated the sound, the feel. The major scale is the most important one. So now what I am going to do is talk about the next mode of the major scale, and I'm going to use G. I do, and I have a worksheet there, modes on G. So if we're in the key of G, I want to talk about the chords that you have in G first. And this is, again, for my music theory class, when I teach modes, it's usually like class number 4. So I'm not necessarily going in sequence with these YouTube live streams. I'm hopping around topics, okay? One of these days I will do a special, and I have videos already on YouTube, but mainly on Patreon, if you want to know and join me in my theory course, my theory classes, where I do share these topics. But one of these days, maybe in the coming month, I'll do a really long session on theory from start to beginning to advanced. It might be pretty epic. Key of G. First of all, the G major scale. You got to know this stuff. G, A, B, C, D, and you got to play it. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. 1 sharp, key of G. Okay. Now we got to talk about the chords, the triads. Again, this is important music theory stuff to understand the modes. You got the Ionian, the 1, you got the minor, 2, and that's called Dorian. Okay, I'm just giving you an overview. We're going to do this slowly, then you can review, and you also have my PDFs. B Phrygian is the 3, and that's B minor. The 3 chords minor. C major, that's the 4 chord, and that's major. So that's Lydian mode. D, Mixolydian, that's 5. E minor, Aeolian, that's the 6 mode. That's also called the natural minor. And I'm going to play F sharp minor 7 flat 5. I'm going to do it down here. I'm playing as the 7th chord, half diminished. And that's called the Locrian mode, when you actually start on that note. And you play that mode that would correlate to that chord. Okay. So these modes, you want to associate them often, especially if you're a jazz improviser wanting to play jazz, fusion, whatever you want to kind of learn how they relate to the chord function, the Roman numeral. That way, if you're in a song like Autumn Leaves, again, you knew I was going to tie it into some of the other stuff, and you have an A minor 7. Well, A minor 7, we actually don't know if that's the 2 chord, the 3 chord, or the 6 chord if you're diatonic. So that's where it's important to understand the Roman numeral analysis. You might say, oh, A minor in the key of G is the 2. So I'm going to run Dorian. D7 is a 5. I'm going to run D Mixolydian. G major is the 1. So I'm going to run G Ionian. Okay, so it's nice to understand the Roman numeral, the function of the chords. That's where the theory kicks in. But today, don't worry about that. That's all. The bigger picture, understanding chord scale relationship, which is what we're doing here. But today's specific topic is learning and understanding the modes. So now I'm going to show you a Dorian. And we're in the key of G, remember, for this instant. Okay, and I'm going to show you another way toward the end of the session here that's going to blow your mind. A Dorian. We have, and here's where you got to learn your formulas. Here's A minor chord, and here's the formula. Oh, remember, we're staying just in the key of G. This is kind of what determines the formula for the mode. We're staying in the key of G. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and then back to A. That's an A Dorian. That's just one octave. And that's all I need right now to demonstrate the sound. Then we can do this. Go up high as you want later. That's all still key of G. And that's kind of I'm hinting at the bigger picture later. And now I'm just kind of doodling, if you know the song. You all know that song? Little Santana here for the morning, Sunday morning. That's Santana's Samba Petit. Very beautiful, beautiful song. Dorian. Santana's a big Dorian guy. Yeah, Ben, you knew that song. Dorian mode, very important sound, very important in jazz. Again, Miles Davis, So What? I'm going to be Dorian is kind of like the most common jazz scale. Why, you're wondering? Because it's a 2 chord. In jazz, we're all about 2, 5, 1s, or just, the 2 chord. So Dorian's crucial. Let's learn it. Let's master it. Ready? A, B, C. This is key of G, so it's A Dorian, A minor 7 chord. And then the formula. This is what's important now that we learn to think in terms of formulas. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 8. I'm going to walk you through that because this is a section on intervals, which I'm going to go back this week and we'll do little shorter live streams. And I hope you grab your guitar from me. It might just be 15 or 20 minutes where we're just going to do these intervallic stuff and practice, more practicing, not this blown out session. So here's 1, here's 8, here's 5, here's Louie Louie. You know I was going to do that? That's crucial. 1, 4, 5, because you got to ear train yourself. Da 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 da. If you can hear that, then you're going to get all the other intervals too. If you're like, hey, I can't really ear train, trust me, when I started off, I couldn't sing intervals, and I, still I'm not great at it, but I want to get better and better. So that's why the Solfege system has really helped me, and I'm going to talk about that. But just by getting some reference melodies and little licks like Louie Louie, that helps me quite a bit. 1, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, flat 3. Here's a flat 3. Here's 4, and here's 5, Louis, Louis. You get the major 6, and then the flat 7, and then the 8. We don't want the major 7. We don't want that for Dorian. We want the flat 7. And that's also contained in the A minor 7 chord. So we have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, that's the major 6, flat 7, and then 8. Again, this is diatonic, meaning to the key of G. But we want to just learn these Dorian mode scale patterns and shapes on different chords. Here's D Dorian. Okay, you can do it on F Dorian. And then now you just noodle around once you learn and memorize those patterns. Was I thinking about each and every individual note? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? We learn these shapes and patterns and intervals, but I do recommend that you go through it slowly at first, like such as how I'm showing it to you. 1, 2, flat 3. This is all in relation. This is a formula, and I'll write this on the board behind me. 1, 2, flat 3. Actually, I'll do it right now so that you're not confused hearing Dorian and seeing the formula for Ionian. Type in the chat where you're from. Say hello. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Dorian is 2, okay? The second mode. It's a minor mode, by the way. We've got a flat 3 in there. We've got a flat 7. That's the formula for Dorian. 1, 2. Got to change this. Flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and a flat 7. This is the half step. And now this is a whole step. That's the formula. 1, and notice it has that minor triad, 1, flat 3, 5. You also have the flat 7. Well, that's what makes it minor 7. Okay. That's the 2 chord, the Dorian, the 2, the second mode. You also have a minor 6 chord, 1, flat 3, 5, 6. This is very important for going through chord theory too, of course. A minor 7, A minor 6. You can put a 9 on there. The 9 is the same as a 2. You put 6, 9. 6, A minor 6, 9. And again, that has the color. Okay, so if you're just joining, Ben, welcome. James, welcome. I'm not sure what you're talking about, so I'm not going to address that. You guys can chat still amongst yourselves, but I'm going to stay focused on my topic if you don't mind, you guys. So, A Dorian. This is kind of the application. By the way, chord-wise, I'm just going A minor 7 to B minor 7. Don't forget we're in the key of G, okay? So that's important that you relate it to what key am I in? And that's ultimately the big picture. I have a couple of videos on Blue Bossa, where I talk about a few videos on different songs to where we take these chord progressions and I say, oh yeah, we're just in the key of A flat major for 5 bars, like all the things you are. And then you'll learn the modes and connect the fretboard. That's kind of the bigger picture instead of just learning it to each chord. A lot of jazz players will kind of teach it that way first. But the bigger picture ultimately is what key am I in? Okay, so A Dorian, you guys say it with me. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 8. These are the formulas. Okay, that's A Dorian. And yeah, we could stay on one string and do it on one string as well, but we already did that. So I'm going to go straight to the next mode, and that's going to be the Phrygian mode. And I just want to stress that Dorian is probably the most important mode in jazz because it's a 2 chord. And in jazz you have 2 5s. So the next mode here is going to be Phrygian. And that's 3. So we're going to start, and that's spelled. Let's see if hopefully I got that right. Oh no, there's an R here. Can't spell. Sorry. And the character of the Phrygian is the flat 2. And that's a half step. Then this now creates a whole step. And we have a flat 6. So that's a half step here. And that's a whole step. The formulas are going to shift over. And I probably will stop doing the whole half, and we'll talk just in terms of numbers to save time. And just in case I make a mistake, I don't want to show you wrong. My brain is still waking up here. Hey, if you're just tuning in, this is an intense lesson. Modes is not an easy topic. I hope to kind of demystify it for you. How I'm showing it to you right now is just showing it to you in the key of G right now, this moment. We went through G, Ionian. I'm staying within 1 octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what's important, I'm going to reiterate this because you might just take notes like, oh, I really need to learn my intervals. And that's where I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like Louis, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I also recommended, which I'll go through in separate YouTube live stream, something I haven't talked about, but I'll go through it more in depth on Patreon, of course, too, is the solfege system. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Do, so, do. Do, so, la, so, ti, do. And that's ear training. It really does help you. It's helped me at least. So I can't say it's going to help you, but it's helped me hear intervals and hear scales and hear melodies, and to be able to hear it and then know where it's supposed to be on the guitar. In my case, if you're assuming you're a guitar player as well. Looks like there's a lot of conversation happening there. That's good. It's good to see that you guys are conversing about this stuff. I'm going to continue on, however. Phrygian mode. What does that sound like? That sounds kind of a little moody, coming to Spanish guitar style. Phrygian. The album will put a major chord too, but it should be minor if you're diatonic, and then major. And I'm kind of showing you how you can create some loops or vamps for yourself. If you have a loop pedal, you can just do B minor, C major, loop that for an hour, and then Phrygian. And I'm just staying right here in this one position. Let's go through what the Phrygian mode is. It's a pretty dark minor scale. What makes it so dark? Well, the flat 2. Remember, we're in the key of G, and you remember 3 to 4 is a half step. Okay. 3 to 4 is half step. So that's what actually now, if we're starting on B, this is not 3 and 4 anymore. It's 1, flat 2. Here's flat 3. Here's 4. And here's 5. You already know that from Louis. This. See, that will help guide you. 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5. Ready for this? Flat 6. It's pretty dark too. Yeah, I was almost gonna bust out to Crazy Train, right? Flat 7. Notice I'm bouncing back to B constantly. That way we can really hear the color. Unless you have a keyboard, you can, or your loop pedal again, then you can hear that B, you sustain it. So 1, say it with me, memorize the formula, write it down, I've got it down on those worksheets, obviously, for you and on top of my head, but 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. And then from there, you can go the next octave. 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 8. Am I thinking about each letter name? Again, no. Similar to my topic on the chord progression topic. I'm not thinking, D, E, F sharp, all that stuff. I'm not thinking about that. Just these become intervals. And for many guitar players, as you already know, many of you are rock pentatonic players. It's all about intervals and shapes, the box. We love that stuff. And I'm going to talk about the pentatonic is actually in here. The minor. The minor pentatonic is a 5-note scale. I'll talk about it right now. It's 1, flat 3, 4, 5. There's Louis, Louis, 4, 5. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 8. The minor pentatonic scale does not contain the 2 modal notes, the 2 and the 6. So it's mode-less. It's kind of a safe scale. We don't know for Dorian, Phrygian, or Aeolian. We'll talk about Aeolian in a second. So again, that's a kind of a, I don't want to say cop-out, but that's kind of an easy way if you don't know your function of the chord. If it's, am I on the 2, am I 3, am I on the 6 chord, then you can just stay with pentatonic. But we're kind of missing out on the beauty of the mode. See the tension? And I'm hoping in your head you're still hearing this B minor. And not. A lot of fun with this Phrygian mode. Okay. All right, we're going to keep going on. Give me a thumbs up if you're just joining in. I appreciate you being here. There's a lot of great commenting. Thank you. Please type in your name. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you're a Patreon member. And I appreciate you being here. Okay, that's the Phrygian mode. I don't need to go on further. We'll come back to it, and we'll do the 1 string concept again toward the end of the lesson here. Session. The next mode is on the 4. There's 7 modes, don't forget, and these all relate to the chords, how I'm showing you them so that you can hear what chord would go with that mode. Okay, but importantly, as you're learning, it's like, oh, I gotta know my formulas. So let me write the formula for Lydian. I'm gonna eliminate the whole step and the half step concept because I think you already know now. The major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, half. 2 wholes and a half, 3 wholes and a half. I gotta start cruising here because I do have a private lesson coming up here. I gotta get ready for it. All right, so this is just gonna be going a little bit quicker. This is now the 4th mode of the major scale, and I put a 4 here, and it's called the Lydian. This is a beautiful scale. All of these have their own unique and beautiful qualities to them. The formula is 1, 2, 3, sharp 4. Jazzers like to call it sharp 11. You think above the octave, but within the major scale here, it's just within 1 octave. It's that's the formula for Lydian. Okay. 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi. And this is the sharp 4, fi, sol, la, ti, do. So that's C. Well, we're going to play it on C because we're in the key of G. So here's C. We could do it here if we wanted. Do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. And of course, I wrote it here also. So I'm going to demonstrate this with the interval quality. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is a formula. Oh, I got a little bit too close to my hands here. 1, 2, 3. Just like the major scale, the Ionian mode. Sharp 4. Okay, you got to really accent and bring out that color. That's enough sharp, by the way. That's a sharp 4. Really bathe in that note. 4. Okay, grab your guitar, do this with me. We're starting on C, by the way. Here's a C major chord because we're on the 4 chord in the key of G. We can also put a major 7 because the formula is 1, 3, 5, 7. Major 7. You can even put a 6 chord, 1, 3, 5, 6. Now I'm showing you how you can use these on different chords. You can put major 9. It could be C major 9. You can put C major 9 sharp 11. Now, now it's starting to sound a little bit more like modern jazz. So say it with me slowly. 1, 2, 3. Play it, of course. Don't just say it. You have to play it too. 1, 2, 3. Sharp 4. So you remember how we did Louie Louie earlier? We don't want Louie and Louie. Louie Louie's gonna be this now. That's a sharp 4. But at least now you know where that 4 is, and you gotta sharp it. You gotta raise your 4. That's the Lydian mode. 1, 2, 3. Sharp 4. Get it in your head. The syllable would be fee if you're using solfege. So la ti do ti la so fi mi re do. Here's a D chord. That's the 5 chord. 4. You could even pedal on the C like this. Now it sounds like maybe a Joe Satriani song or something. Sharp 4. Okay, that's the character. I scared myself. I have to listen to that one. Let's see. So modes that's funny. Well, mode is always correct to the parent major scale. The mode is always correct. I'm going to say yes. Mode is always correct. Right now, I'm showing you there's a parent major scale. The parent major scale for this lesson right now is in the key of G. G major is the parent scale. So far we've had G major, Ionian, A Dorian, 2, 3, B Phrygian, and now C Lydian. Okay, and what's really important is that you learn those formulas. But that also might mean, hey, I got to review my intervals. In what we're talking about, intervals, the whole Louie Louie thing, and just knowing. And don't worry, I hope you tune in during the week. There'll be really concise sessions, drills, where I'm going to just yell out 1, 2, sharp 4, 7 on C, and you'll grab your guitar, you'll say 1, 2, sharp 4, 7. You just do that with me, and I'll say, okay, 1, flat 3, I'll say D. I'll say 1, flat 7, 8. You'll do that. You'll say that. 1, flat 5, 5. You get quick at intervals. It's a matter of geography on the guitar, where it's located. I often refer to that as fretboard visualization. But then, of course, to be able to know your notes, like that's a D. There's things that are mandatory here, I guess you could say, and then to be able to play it, understand the intervals. If you're just tuning in, this is a pretty I'm realizing it's not an easy topic, and it does require that you know some other things. Give me a thumbs up. I'm almost at 10. Give me a 10. I would love to have 10. Yesterday I was going for a 20, but today I'll take 10. It keeps going down, but hopefully more and more people will tune in, because I really do enjoy these live sessions, and I want to try to keep them going as much as possible. But the algorithms, I'll get more people and liking it, and then more people YouTube will recommend it. Then I get more people. You know how it works. Let's talk about Mixolydian. Mixolydian is the 5th mode. Come on, if you're just tuning in, give me that thumbs up. 5th mode, I'll put a 5 here. So again, there's some things that you should know. 5 in the key of G is D. That would be a D major chord or a D7 chord. It could be a D13 chord because the 6th degree could be a D9 chord for all we know. Okay, if we're staying true to the chord, just not a sharp 9 or flat 9 or sharp 5 or flat 5. It's unaltered. Okay, it can be extended. But the beautiful thing about the Mixolydian mode, that guy, da-da, the flat 7. Let me see if I can give myself a D. Here's D. And we could have gone over here too. I did write it out way up here on the 10th fret, D7. Just like Dorian, this is the other important scale in jazz because we always have dominant chords. So let's do this together. I'm going to start right here on D. We actually want to be able to do this anywhere. And again, like I said, here's D. Earlier, the beginning lesson, which if you didn't catch it at the very beginning, we noodled around on one string by thinking formulas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Ooh, I just got the 10th like. Thank you so much. That's Mixolydian. I'm noodling around, hopefully you are with me, hitting that D open and playing D Mixolydian. That's the beauty of playing along the length of the string. You can really see the interval quality of it and know where that flat 7 is, as opposed to the major 7, the regular 7 of the major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then flat 7 right here. That's the character of the Mixolydian, that is. We're good friends, so I can just call him Mixo. Known him for many years. Now, the noodling ensues. Oh man, don't get me started. Mixolydian jams for hours. Come on, I know some of you like the Grateful Dead, right? Jam bands. Who likes Grateful Dead? Give me a thumbs up. Bob, you already gave me a thumbs up. You can't do it again, otherwise I would dislike it. So don't remove your like if you don't like Grateful Dead. It's not my fault. All right, Mixolydian mode. But of course, so much in jazz. The Beatles use it in Norwegian wood. Everything right there, flat 7. Da, da, da. Okay, anyways, Jimi Hendrix uses it in, what's that song called? All right, anyways, thumbs up if you like Jimi Hendrix, Beatles. Now I'm just, now I'm fishing for a thumbs up. Let's go on. I'm just trying to get the mode in your head. 1, 2, we're on D. Here's D major triad. Here's D7. Remember the formula. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Boom, boom, boom. Here, check out this riff. Boom, 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 boom. Do, mi, so, te, do. Okay. That's a dominant 7 arpeggio, but that's a classic riff. That's Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison. But that, when you hear that, that's Mixolydian to me. I mean, you say, oh, it's a dominant 7, but that's very important. 1, 2, 3. Let's talk formulas, guys. 1, 2, 3. Play it with me. We're on D. 4, 5. Just like Louis. Don't tell me you don't know where 4 and 5 are now because we did this so much. Okay, gotta know where 1, 4, 5 is. Just bust out Louis. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. 6. 6 is always a whole step above the 5th. Always the 6th. And then the flat 7 is here. In the flat 7, I'm going to show it to you in relation to the octave. Here's octave. And again, this ties back into the diagonal method lesson. If you're like, hey, I'm not really strong on my octaves and my fifths, go back to my lesson, the live stream lesson, and learn. octave, flat 7, whole step below. That's the beauty of the mix-up mode. And I'm playing this D triad, or a C triad in this case, with a D in the bass, like this. Third stone from the sun. Thank you, Ben. Hendrix. And again, if now the bigger picture, when you're jamming with your buddies or backing track and you want that D Mixolydian mode, and I'm kind of been hinting at this, you think key of G. You just think all over the fretboard, anywhere in the key of G, basically against the mode, the chord, you're creating a D Mixolydian flavor. So that's where, if you haven't already noticed, I'm often giving us a bass note. That's all that's needed. And you can change modes instantly from the bass note. A mode is almost, I don't want to say completely, but it almost doesn't have as much meaning, context, or until you hear it in context. Give it context with a chord or a bass note. Otherwise, it's just, formula scale. But listen to that D. I'm going to play, well, now at this point, we've learned the 3 major type of modes. Remember, 1, 4, 5 in the key are major chords, as we talked about at the beginning of the session here. 1, 4, 5, G, C, D. So now there's something really great about knowing that there's 3 major type of modes: Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. The Lydian, remember, is characterized by the sharp 4, and the Mixolydian is characterized by the flat 7. And a couple of you are probably saying, what if we combine those? Then you get a different scale, the Lydian dominant scale, and that's a mode of the melodic minor. So let's not do that for now. If you're just tuning in, give me a thumbs up, say hello in the chat. This is Mixolydian. I'm giving myself a D string. I call that the drone note. Flat 7. Do, re, mi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flat 7. Here it is. I know I'm going to hit it, so I kind of dig in there and really want to hear that modal note. Sometimes it's nice to save those notes and then introduce it, after you kind of say a little bit more. Now I'm going to switch to Lydian so you hear it. Lydian has a sharp 4, by the way, you guys. And here it is, the 5. The Simpsons, Maria. How about just a major scale? The major scale almost sounds a little bit bland. I hate to say that. No offense to the good old major scale, but these modes have so much character. Notice I'm hitting that drone string, the D, so you really hear the coloration of it, and that's a big part of today's lesson, ear training, because that might be new for you. Like, I hear that, or I've heard that melody. That's good. I want you to recognize that there's, even within a major chord, D major triad, there's 3 modes you can play: Ionian, Lydian, Mixolydian. So someone will say, hey, Tracy, let's just jam on this one chord. I might tweak with them and play, Lydian mode or Mixolydian, or do a jam where I'm mixing and matching modes. I think that's really fun. You don't have to just assume that one chord is the one chord, the Ionian mode. It could be the 4, it could be the 5. We need context. Okay, so that's very important. There's going to be an ad coming up here. That's a good time to have some more coffee and do what you need to do. Type in the comment. Let me see where you're from, who you are. Say hello. Let me know if you're on Patreon. If you're watching this on Patreon, please come over to YouTube. That helps me with algorithms and what else? Yeah, just participate a little bit more in the Patreon mode. On the YouTube mode. You go back to Patreon later and grab the PDFs and whatnot. I've got a lot of studies on modes and a lot of more intense modal materials from blues, applying modes to blues, applying modes to Sweet Georgia Brown, applying modes to jazz standards, and how I think about it in another way. I'm going to try to. We're already over an hour, I think. We're hitting an hour right now, so I'm going to do the flash round as I have to get ready for a private lesson and get more coffee as well. But I want to see another, and I'll go on in a second. I want to see another name in the chat that I haven't seen yet. Just say hi. Please. Don't be shy. Or give me a thumbs up if you don't want to type. Just click on that like button. And of course, if you do like what these lessons, you can hit the little dollar bill sign. Show your support for Tracy Kim Music. That's always appreciated. And you can send me a tip via Venmo or PayPal. It's all in the description. And I appreciate all of that and all the support. Of course, that helps keep this going. All right. We've got a couple more modes to hit. I love that Mixolydian mode. By the way, now we can actually already do 2-5-1s in the jazz style of teaching. This is how they teach in music school. They hit A minor 7. They say A Dorian. I'm back to autumn leaves. D7, D mixo. G major 7. This is autumn leaves in the key of G. That's G Ionian. C major. Oops. Lydian. I hit Ionian. So that's the jazz style of instruction in music schools. They're kind of strict about it. Usually they'll say, if you have a 2 chord, you play Dorian. If you've got the 5 chord, you play Mixolydian. If you've got the 1 chord, you play Ionian. If you've got the 4 chord, you play Lydian. And I'm not knocking that because that's a really important system, is chord scale relationship. Okay. So if you take a tune like All the Things You Are, some of you know that song, very pretty song. You have to think about, okay, I'm just demonstrating, don't worry about, this is all on you on Patreon mode. You have the 6 chord. It doesn't start on the 2 chord. You have to know, and I'm just telling you, there's some analysis that needs to happen. But it's okay, I'm in the 6. So I'm running Aeolian. Then it goes to the 2, Dorian. Then the 5, Mixo. Then the 1, okay, Ionian, etc. I mean, there's a bigger picture. Hey, we're just in the key of A flat major. And you don't, but the deal is to have the chord and the scale, and of course, also the arpeggio. The arpeggio is contained within the scale. It's just, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Hey, I got a new comment. Thanks, JC. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up here. We're talking about modes this morning, one of my favorite topics. And as you all who've been here now, there's a lot happening, and I'm kind of mentioning some things that I think are important, theory-wise, to have down. We're going to do some drills this week, so join me on the week, during the week if you can. I know everybody has day jobs and work. So let's. Hey Bob, good morning. Good to see, or good afternoon for you. Thank you. Glad to tune in, and I'll see you for your lesson later on this week. By the way, I do offer private lessons, Patreon, of course, and then private lessons via Zoom. If you're interested in diving deeper into this for your purposes and where you're at, anybody, just contact me. Okay, so we have to do 2 more modes here. Don't forget, we're in the key of G for this demonstration. We can go up here to E. E is a 6. This is, and I just talked about the 6 chord on All the Things You Are. Aeolian mode. This is a big one, especially if you're a classic rocker. If you're a fan of Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton. Aeolian mode, 6 mode. Let's talk about this guy. The 6 is minor, okay? And we got the Aeolian, A-E-O-L-I-A-N. Aeolian. Okay, here's the formula. You ready? 1, 2, flat 3. Of course, we need the flat 3. That's what makes it minor. 4 and 5. Okay, and then that we almost have the pentatonic right there. 1, flat 3, 4, 5. And then we have a flat 6. And I say that flat 6 because it's darker. That's a darker color tone. And then we have the flat 7. And then the octave. Where's my E? Do, re, mi, fa, sol. And then it's le, te, do. That's the solfege system. And I use the syllables me, lay, and te instead of me, la, and ti. And I'll talk about solfege in a different video. Let me know in the chat or the comments later for those watching the replay of this, if you want me to hit that. I'll put that on the priority list. I'm kind of getting a feel of what different people are enjoying. And also I'm hitting some topics that are not, talked about as much on YouTube. There's a plethora of materials already for most topics, but you're getting the Tracy Kim method here. Here's E minor. Sorry, E minor, Aeolian. I need to be very specific. Many of you who study privately with me, I'm like, when they say minor, I ask them a little bit more specific. Which minor? Notice I'm hitting the E in the drone. And my chord that this moody chord, by the way, is an E minor add 2 or add 9. It's just taking the triad, our favorite E minor, and taking the 8 and going up a whole step. So you get the 9. The 9 adds a lot of color, a lot of moodiness. Here, by the way, here's E major add 9, so you can hear the color of that. It's pretty. Minor add 9. And yeah, the 9, just so you know, if you didn't know this, we'll talk. See, I'm making notes about some different topics here. These are all kind of prerequisite lessons, core requisite. I say core requisite. I don't expect you to know this. I want you to know this, especially again, if you're pursuing your musics that you are interested in, whether it's jazz standards or, rock, fusion, or whatever. You just want to know more about this. These are really important topics. And then for private lessons and my materials on Patreon, that's where I get into the detailed application of it. Some of you already know, Bob, from private lessons too, they're tailored to where you're at and what you want to use it for. Okay, I'm going to cruise through this here. The 2 is, what I was saying is the 2 is the same as the 9, an octave higher. That's all it is. So sometimes you might see an E minor add 2 in a book, E minor add 9. Essentially, they're the same thing. An add 2 might mean it's on the piano, especially, that you can play it closer. It's harder to do add 2s on the guitar, but you might see it notated. This is E minor add 9 like this as well. Now you speak of me. Listen to that song, Cry Me River. That's that first melody note, beautiful note, the 9, the 2. Okay. All right, and notice again the Aeolian mode. I'm just having a lot of fun noodling. Let's do this. E minor add 9 if you want to do this with me. You can even do this. So I took the 5 and I went to the flat 6 because it's in there. Flat 6. See, if you want to create loop on your pedal, your loop pedal, you just do this. 3, loop that. And now you can have so much fun on this Sunday afternoon. 3, 4. Kind of dark, and here's your mode. That was E minor Aeolian or Hero. I don't have my loop pedal today, otherwise I'd be doing this. That'll be a separate session. And check out my live streams when I occasionally have my bar gig. I'll just put on the live stream. I'm going to start doing that more. And I'll demonstrate some of these topics. They're so mellow, the gigs, like just kind of noodle around a lot. It's fun. Aeolian, E. What I'm demonstrating here, this is important. This is now hopefully tying into what you've been working with me on this morning, is I'm noodling around pretty freely, as you can see. I wasn't limiting myself anymore to just one shape like this one, but I'm going to walk you through this. Here's E, 1, 2, flat 3. Hopefully, again, you're learning your intervals. You're going to do my quizzes all week long with me. 1, 2, flat 3 is on E. 4, 5. Again, that's Louie Louie. Know where that 4 or 5 are. Flat 6. Flat 6 is a half step above the 5th. Flat 7, 8. We're going to kind of do that in a bluesy way. Sorry, let me turn off my phone, my notifications. Okay. And I've got a private lesson I have to get ready for, so I'm going to cruise through this last one here. And, the Locrian gets a bad rap. We'll talk about that in a second. We're going to spend a little time on it. Just a little bit of time. Sorry, Locrian fans. But Aeolian, oh my gosh, we got to spend a lot of time. So much time on Aeolian. I love Aeolian, but you got to know the Aeolian mode is the natural minor. So a song like this. That's the natural. We love those. Well, I love those classic rock songs. I mean, it's so many songs from the 70s, right? That progression. When you hear that, E minor, D major, C major. And of course, it could be power chords, but the mode is Aeolian because that's 6, 5, 4, 5, and back to the 6. And that's another topic for discussion, is looking at chord progressions, analyzing how do we know what the numbers are. Again, Roman numerals. How do we know? Or ear training for that matter, when we hear this, or something like this. Or something like this. Right? How do we know that that's Aeolian mode instantly? Or this. That's Aeolian. All those songs use that. Now I'm in Aeolian. Aeolian is what key? Come on. Type it in. Aeolian. What key? What major key? What's the Ionian? And those are the theory quizzes I kind of mentioned during the week when I mentioned my theory teacher, the drills from music school. Aeolian is key of C. Aeolian is 6 of C. So this is where thanks, Ben, I knew you'd get it. This is where knowing your intervals and then, this stuff comes in. So, if you're here watching this, I'm assuming that you're interested in learning this and understanding it. And it's my goal to teach it to you, but that also does require drills, and then also, daily drills and practicing it and, looking at it. So I wish I could say it was that easy to teach, but what I'm really showing you here is the foundation, and that to me is the most important thing that I can share with you. And they actually do have to be these longer videos that we do together, that you grab your guitar, but during the week I'm going to do shorter quizzes and drills with you. But right now, when you're watching this, you have to grab your guitar and do this. It's going to open up a lot of new ideas. Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this, if you're new. Ooh, Soul Lemon. Happy birthday, Kenny Burrell. I think it was yesterday or today. I just saw. Man. Okay, yeah, thumbs up. Come on, I didn't get as many as yesterday. I thought more people would enjoy the modes topics. All right, so that's okay. I'll just keep trying it, seeing what everybody's enjoying out here. Aeolian Jam. We could do this for hours. And again, I mentioned that movie Alive, where you just have that. That was an eye opener to how beautiful and dark and how much expression these modes can offer just from just noodling. I'm on just that open E, and now I'm gonna show you the mode E Aeolian on the first string. Do, re, mi, 1, 2, flat 3, fa, sol, la, sol, do. There's te. Oh, that was a major 6. See how that brightened it up? We don't want that brighter Mixolydian or that brighter Dorian flavor. We want this. So these modes, they all have different gradations of color. The Aeolian and the Phrygian, because of the formulas, those are the darker ones. Dorian's the brightest of all the minor modes. And again, these are what I usually refer to as colors, the emotional impact. So here's Aeolian as we just kind of bathe in Aeolian. Hit your low E. And I'm going to start here with you. Open 2, 3. I'm telling you in terms of tabs, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12. I'd rather have you think in terms of formulas and tabs. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and then a whole step to the 8. Hit your open E. You can even do stuff like this, kind of bringing in some classical guitar. I'm hitting the B string and the G string because that creates an E minor chord, right? If you know the song that I'm playing, tell me. I'm just hinting at it. Stealing the idea, essentially, the motif, and making it my own. Okay, it's called Romanza for guitar. Check it out if you like. Oh, that's pretty. It is pretty. Standard of the classical guitar repertoire, Spanish guitar. But I like to take that motif sometimes and make it my own. Major. Ooh, harmonic minor. That'll be another topic. That's a major 7. That's the Aeolian mode. But remember, we're just in the key of G. That makes it so much easier. So now I can just noodle around in the key of G. And the whole fretboard just begins to open up for you. So again, now what I'm demonstrating is kind of the other purpose of the modes for us guitar players is as we learn these modes, G Ionian. This is where we started, by the way, you guys. A Dorian. Grab the free PDF with tabs on my Patreon link. It's free. You don't have to join. Mixolydian, Aeolian, and last one is Locrian, and then back to Ionian. So I'm just demonstrating the modes going one position at a time. As I showed you earlier, they relate to the chords: major, minor, minor. You can do 7th chords if you're a jazzer. You want the color. And then you play the correlating mode. Thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. We have one more mode to cover. Then we might just kind of goof around a little bit more. I've got to get ready for, I think this has gone over a lot. Yeah, a lot longer than I expected. But I kind of knew that I love talking about modes, so I wanted to share this with you all. F sharp, Locrian. Let's write on the board to wrap up this session today. This is the 7 chord. And as a triad, that would be diminished. As a 7 chord, it's minor 7, flat 5. Okay, so we got Locrian. And again, that's all in the free PDF that I'm offering you. You don't have to join or anything, just grab it with the link and download it instantly. There's a couple of double tabs. 1, flat 2, flat 3. This is the darkest mode that you can play on the guitar. Flat 6, flat 7, and 8. In relation to the major scale, again, you flat the 2, you flat the 3, you flat the 6, 5, you flat the 6, you flat the 7. That's what I'm saying, it's pretty dark from the major scale. And I'm going to show you something that's going to open up some doors for you. I'm going to actually tell it to you right now. This is important, very important. Take note of it. Hey, thanks, James. I appreciate you. Down in Florida. Yeah, if you haven't already, please give me a thumbs up. I'm just playing a little game with myself, and that's just to see how many likes I can get on my video. So, and I was shooting for 20 today, and today I've got 12. So that's okay. It's a Sunday. But give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this, and I'm going to try to keep doing these for you. So I'm going to show you something. This is just a little Tracy tangent here. It's very important to learn your modes starting on one root note. One root note. So you go G Ionian, G Dorian, G Phrygian. This is a great way to learn G Lydian, G Mixo. This is how you can learn your formulas, because you learn how they differ by staying on one root note. And essentially, as you're doing that, you're actually switching keys 7 times. So as a hint, this is how a great way to navigate through jazz chord progressions or through any song style, fusion, whatever you're playing, anything that switches keys, especially at a rapid pace of, 1 measure, 2 bars, whatever, when you need to switch keys, by just simply switching modes staying on the same note or a nearby note, depending on the key, you can navigate through those key changes without necessarily having to move your hand. So that's the popular term for that these days is called modal interchange. That's kind of within that topic. So you might be playing a song like, I often will grab the song, How High the Moon. That's switching keys. So I got G Ionian, G Dorian, G Dorian, G Phrygian. So and then you can play some blues licks. Just whatever. But it's nice to be able to stay on one root note on the fretboard, so you don't have to move around because you don't know the scales. You can stay there, and that just takes some thinking. Again, like if I said E flat major, you would say G Phrygian, that type of thing. I don't know, I find it useful, and I hope you do, and I want to share that type of knowledge with you and how I think about it. The last one I want to do, Ben, Corcovado, I demonstrated that, and I demonstrated it on Hotel California. That's a cool progression. There's a lot of harmonic minor used too. Thanks, Ben. Very good. Ben, you're very good. Thanks for watching and dissecting my lessons and materials. I appreciate that. Locrian mode. Let's finish up with this. This one gets a bad rap. 1 flat 2. We're supposed to be on F sharp. 1 flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5. Yeah, that's the only mode with a flat 5. Now, Ben, I know you're going to say, but the Lydian has a flat 5. It technically does, but it's really a sharp 4 if you're thinking off the formula. So, but this one does not have a perfect 5th. It's flat 5, diminished. And that's why the diminished chord would go with it. 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5. Sorry, the formula is above my head here. 1, F sharp, 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 8. I'm going to keep bouncing off this F sharp for practice, and so you can hear the color, the interval, the intervallic quality. And then give yourself this chord. We could take it up another octave. Now I'm just playing this F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. And this is the last little tip I'll share with you. This is going to blow your mind. So I'm smiling because I love sharing this. Many of you who studied with me privately or on Patreon, they always hear me say, what would you play on an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord? What ideas? And this is just a little hack, I'll say, when you have this chord. Well, when you think about what F sharp minor 7 flat 5 is, and it's really easy to see, I hope you can see it when I play it like this. I put the F sharp here, and that's when my students will often say, hey, that's an A minor 6. I say, yeah, exactly. F sharp minor 7 flat 5. They're the same 4 notes as A minor 6. And then now, hopefully, when I ask you, my student or myself, what would you play on an A minor 6 that you have? Ooh, I could do this. Well, yeah, Dorian, A Dorian. Well, why not just do that on F sharp minor 7 flat 5? They're the same 4 notes, A minor 6. So yeah, on F sharp minor 7 flat 5, you could just convert and think A Dorian. Again, we're in the key of G for that matter. I also love A melodic minor. Now I'm going off on a tangent, sorry. On this chord, A melodic minor. Again, I'm getting a little bit more out there just to kind of give you a glimpse of where I'm going with all this and where I go with this in my private lessons. And of course, on Patreon and the bonus lessons and my etudes, I try to demonstrate and show these materials. Can I get one more thumbs up before the end of the session today? Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you spending your time with me on Sunday morning. Cheers. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you all next time. Thanks.